So I'll just share the material. Should hopefully work this on. There we go. There we are. Okay, so the next this session will be all around study skills, preparing for an interview again. So this is learning outcome 2. So this is all around understanding the importance of verbal and non-verbal communication. So obviously there's different ways to communicate. You've got the kind of actual spoken words, which is obviously one of the main forms of communication, but you've got the non-verbal communication that can actually give away a lot of clues without the words that you actually say. So we'll go over that today.
Okay.
Okay, so understanding the importance of verbal and non-verbal communication. So communication is really important, obviously. It's a great foundation of effective interaction in work and everyday life. Communication obviously helps us to understand better. So we need to look at this because it will help in an interview. It helps how we deliver a message, how it's received, and how people see us and how people respond. So I say that and I sit up because I have to remind myself that I need to sit up straight because sometimes I can slouch. So it happens to all of us. So it's just good to kind of, this is a good reminder for us today. So a little bit about verbal communication. So verbal communication is everything we express through spoken words. It matters because the way I say something can completely change how it's understood. Verbal communication includes tone, speed, clarity, choice of words, and the structure of my sentences. When I communicate well verbally, I reduce confusion, show confidence, and make my intentions clear. So in workplaces, verbal communication helps with giving instructions, asking questions, discussing ideas, dealing with problems, and building relationships with colleagues and customers. So one thing that employers will look for, one of the main things that employers look for is strong communication skills. I can't think of any job where it is not important. It's important to every single job in one way or the other. So, for us, if we're working with different groups of people, being able to communicate properly is really important for positive outcomes. So we know that if we explain something clearly, people trust my ability to handle situations. If I'm vague or unclear, it leads to mistakes and misunderstandings. And it just takes time. Like communication is all experience, and we can't be perfect straight away. I certainly have to work on the speed because I can talk quite quickly sometimes. But I think as long as we communicate that, and ensure that others are aware that we're aware, then I find that is quite helpful. So verbal communication also plays a key role in interviews, meetings, presentations, and teamwork. It shows how well I can express myself and how professionally I can represent an organisation. So does that make sense, Festina?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. So the opposite of verbal communication is non-verbal communication. So non-verbal communication can include body language, posture, eye contact, your facial expressions, gestures, and even the space between people. It also includes tone of voice because tone is not about the words themselves, but how it's delivered. So sometimes it's the delivery that counts, not the actual words that we say to one another. So non-verbal cues often send stronger messages than verbal ones. For example, I can say I'm listening, but if I avoid eye contact or look distracted, the message doesn't match my behaviour. So, you know, when we talk to people, eye contact is really important because it can show how sincere we are about our intentions. So the same for interviews. In interviews or workplace situations, non-verbal communication helps create the right impression. Sitting upright, making eye contact, and keeping my body open makes me look confident and engaged. If my arms are crossed, my shoulders are tense, which is reminding me to make sure I'm not tense, um, or we avoid eye contact, we can come across as unsure or uninterested. So it is so important. So non-verbal communication also helps me understand others better. If somebody looks confused, worried, or annoyed, which you can usually see in their face, you can then adjust your approach, even if they haven't said anything. So I'd say we can, if we have an understanding of these different cues, it can help us be better in the way that we communicate to people to make them feel safe. Okay, so the non how verbal and non-verbal communication work together. So the two forms of communication need to support each other. When what I say matches how I behave, people are more likely to trust me. When they don't match, people usually believe the non-verbal message over the verbal one. For example, if someone says they're calm but their voice is shaky, I'm more likely to believe they're nervous. So it's the non-verbal cue communication that we always base our assumptions and judgments from. Um, so it's just important to have an awareness of that. So good communication requires awareness of both. This helps me avoid sending the wrong impression and makes it easier to build positive relationships, show respect, and reduce conflict. In professional settings, it also improves teamwork, customer service, leadership, and overall workplace performance. Christina, have you got any examples or instances where you've come across this in your job at all?
Non-verbal communication.
Yeah. Okay. And do you have any particular examples of that?
I remember when a colleague was told, why has she been frowning her face all
Mm.
the time?
Oh,
At
right.
least people were looking or people
Mhm.
were watching from afar.
Okay.
But she said that is how her face is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that is the excuse she gave.
Yeah. I understand that. Like sometimes I pull faces and I don't mean to, but I've had to really check in with myself and say, actually, I don't mean to give off a bad impression, but sometimes if I sit there thinking like this, it can
Mhm.
look a bit rude. So I have
You
to kind
look so serious.
of, yeah, you have to like check in. Like for example, my children say, "Why are you frowning?" And I'm like, I'm deep in thought. I'm thinking
How
about,
you thinking?
yeah. Uh, but obviously, it can give people the wrong impression in the workplace. So I
Mm.
think it's just if we have an awareness, we can go. Actually, we need to smile more.
And like the voice, the tone of voice you said, there's this Nigerian lady too, and the way she talks is like always being rude.
Oh dear. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So people were saying you always rude to people, and say, ah, the lady said, no, this is the way I talk. And said, then you have a big
Um,
question mark on the way
yeah,
you talk.
she probably doesn't mean harm.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes it's just what you've grown up around. Like
Mm-hmm.
you used to like I remember, for example, my mum, her tone would be very hard and very strong lady, um,
Mm-hmm.
because she had a tough life. So, but sometimes it could be quite scary, even though she didn't mean to. So, she's a great mother, but do you know what I mean? It's like it's just having awareness sometimes, that it can impact people, even though we don't mean to. So, but you've got some great examples there, so that's good that you're aware. So did your colleague did she change the way she spoke or did
Yeah,
she
she's still
smile?
same. She's still same. But it's like something she grew up with it, so it's been part of her.
Yeah.
There's nothing. But to me, I was thinking she was pretending
Okay.
because sometimes when she's gossiping, she talks with that soft voice with people when she's gossiping.
Uh,
But when it's work and with the colleague doing something together, she feels like she's the boss. I
oh
said, huh?
goodness.
Yeah, and the kind of tone she would talk, I said, no, 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 I'm not taking this from you.
It's not respectful, is it? We have to respect others. So
I
how
always,
how so how did you deal with that? Did you challenge her?
no, 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 me, it's like, I'm not that type. I will never challenge you, but I will make sure I will not come close to you to be intimidated.
Yeah, protect yourself.
Obviously, yeah, I check myself. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
I was giving her that distance.
Okay, that sounds like
Mm,
the right thing to
yeah,
do. Yeah.
I'm always careful with people. So
Okay.
when I see who you are, then I adapt to suit.
Ah, so you're clever.
Yeah,
You got it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
study. Yeah, for me, if I come in contact with you, it's like I'll study you from afar.
mhm.
Then when I'm closer, I know how to uh, go about my things
Yeah,
because I don't want to offend you. Neither do I want you to offend me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It sounds like you've got good boundaries there. And you have to protect yourself, don't you, in the workplace as well,
Yeah,
and not get
yeah,
into drama. It's easier
no.
said than done. People, people are complex, aren't they? But I
Yeah,
think,
they are really complex, and it's like they have a way of going about every. They are cunning. Yeah, let me use that word. They are really cunning. If you
yeah,
don't take care, you will find yourself in trouble, and they will always maneuver their way through. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
also have to find a way of keeping distance.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It sounds like you've got the right idea there, Christina, because it's in the care sector. It's a difficult area to
it's
work in, isn't
really
it?
difficult.
Yeah,
Really difficult.
really difficult because you're dealing with people every day with different problems, and then on top of that, you've got your colleagues that might be problematic as well. So, but it sounds like this. I think this is why this verbal and non-verbal communication unit is really important. But it sounds like you've got great experience already and understand. You've got a lived experience, so you'll do great on the assignment, I'm sure. Okay, so moving on to the next section, so 2.1. So this is all around non-verbal communication skills used in an interview situation. So in an interview, non-verbal communication is just as important as the answers I give. It influences the interviewer's first impression and shows confidence, professionalism, and attitude. The main non-verbal skills I would use include, so number one, eye contact, maintaining steady but natural eye contact. So, it needs to be natural. We don't want to be like staring at people like we're in a trance. We just need to kind of keep it natural. And it should show that I am engaged, confident, and paying attention. Avoiding eye contact can make me seem nervous or unsure, while staring is the opposite and can make people feel uncomfortable. So it's important to have balanced eye contact to help build rapport. Um, the next kind of the next point is all around the posture. So sitting upright with my shoulders relaxed shows confidence and interest. There we go. I need to do it again. Slouching or leaning back too far can look like I'm bored or not taking the interview seriously. So you don't want to be slouched forward, but you also don't want to be like, legs
Hmm.
up, too relaxed.
Okay.
um, which I'm sure you know that
You
anyway.
only have to stay straight.
Yeah, yeah. And do I look like I'm sat straight right now? sat up straight.
That's okay. You're not in interview room.
I'm not in an interview right now. Good, that's good to know.
You're not facing any panel.
Oh, it's good to know where I'm at. So the next point is around facial expressions. So a calm, friendly expression helps create a welcoming impression. So smiling at appropriate moments shows warmth and approachability. Facial expressions also show that I am listening and reacting naturally to questions. So we want to be friendly, we want to smile. We don't want to smile too much because that might scare people also. So again, all about balance. Hand gestures. So controlled, purposeful hand gestures. I don't know about you, Fatina, but sometimes I use my hands. It helps me to explain stuff. So it may be quite helpful to know. So hand gestures can help emphasize key points without distracting the interviewer. Overusing gestures or fidgeting can look unprofessional. Keeping hands relaxed shows calmness also. Number 5 is body orientation. So sitting slightly forward and facing the interviewer shows interest. Turning away or crossing my arms can make me look closed off. Open body language indicates confidence and active engagement. The next one, number 6, is personal appearance. So how I present myself non-verbally communicates professionalism. Wearing clean, appropriate clothing, being well-groomed and looking neat sends a strong message before I even speak. Number 7, tone of voice. Although I'm using words, tone counts as non-verbal because it shows emotion, confidence and attitude. So tone of voice, so for example, if we don't put tone into our voice, we can end up sounding like a robot if we talk just at a constant level. So a steady, clear tone makes me sound reliable. A shaky or rushed tone can give the impression of nervousness. Number 8, spatial awareness. So the thing around respecting people's personal space. We don't want to be sat too close or too far away. We need to sit at a comfortable distance and not crowd the interviewer to show awareness of boundaries and helps create a professional atmosphere. Number 9, active listening skills. So nodding slightly, leaning forward and showing attentive expressions can demonstrate that I am engaged and processing what the interviewer is saying. So, it is helpful to show that you're listening to, key points and, nodding like that or kind of smiling, engaging shows that you're listening properly. Okay, so 2.2, the learning outcome shows this is all around interview questions and possible interviewee responses. So during an interview, I can expect a mix of general behavioural and job-specific questions. So each type is designed to understand my skills, attitude and suitability for the role. Below are some common questions and examples of how an interviewee might respond effectively. So one of the common questions is tell me about yourself. So if I was to ask you, Festina, a question, so tell me about yourself, would you feel comfortable in answering that question?
Not at the moment.
So this is good practice, yeah? This is really good practice. So
Yes.
yeah, really good practice. So okay, maybe we could turn this around. Do you want to ask me, tell me about yourself? And I can give you an
Okay.
example.
Miss
Yeah,
Emma, please tell me about yourself.
okay. My name is Emma Honeyford. I'm 41 years old. I am a mother. I have 2 children. I live in Stockport. I have a range of different skills. I love to work with people. I have a background in human geography, a degree in human geography. I have a master's in sustainability and environmental management. I'm passionate about climate action and social justice, and I believe that I love creativity, art, and culture to deal with problems connected to climate action and climate change. So that was an example. I don't know if it's a
Mhm.
good example, but
Yeah.
it's good to practice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's good to practice, and you can do that in the mirror, or you could do it with a friend or a family member, or do it to yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to kind of get used to talking out loud.
Okay.
So here's the example on here. Are you okay with that? Great practice. So I'm
I'll do my I'll do mine later, but not now.
not right now.
No,
So,
no, no.
you've got this. You can do
I
it.
don't have the courage.
You do. You're great. You're great. Do you want to have a go?
I don't have the courage to do it.
Okay. Well, next time. Next time.
I, 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 I'm trying to gather something, but hmm. Hey.
Have a think about it, and if you want me to ask you a few questions in a minute, I'm happy to do that. But you don't have to. Like, just go. We'll go at your own pace. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, this isn't about being perfect right now. It's about learning. And it's good to test stuff out with me. Do you know what I mean? It's good to try. So, there's no judgment here. This is all about learning and using it as an opportunity to get to test stuff out. Um, so the response on here is, so tell me about yourself. I'm someone who enjoys taking responsibility and working with others to get things done. In my recent role, I developed strong communication and customer service skills, and I learned how to stay calm when dealing with different types of people. I am now looking for a position where I can build on these strengths and continue developing professionally. Why do you want this job? Okay, so that's a good question. That's a good common question on most interview, right? In most interviews. So when preparing for an interview for a job,
Mhm,
it's really good to kind of read the job specification, the job portrait, the role
mhm,
portrait, um, and have a good read over it so you can kind of see if there's anything within the job role that really resonates with you, anything that you think, oh, I'd love to do that. That looks great. And then you can start to prepare your question.
mhm.
Um, expect that question because it is a really common question. So why do you want this job? So possible response. So here's an example of a good response. I'm interested in this role because it matches the skills I've built so far. So, you're setting the scene, you're telling them, you've got the skills that match, especially in communication.
Then you come out with the skills you have.
Exactly. And yeah, exactly. So you're selling yourself, your time to shine. Yeah, exactly. So, especially in communication, teamwork, and problem solving. So, if it is a job that really needs you to be a great communicator, good at teamwork and problem solving, then you can say, I've got experience in doing those things, so I'd be great for this job. I like the idea of working in an environment where I can keep learning and contribute to the organisation. After researching the company, I feel this is a place where I could grow and make a positive impact. So it is really important to research the employer as you can really start to tailor your response in interview questions. So, number three, what are your strengths? So, we've all got strengths, I would say,
Mhm.
most of us. Um, so, if I was to ask you, Festina, what would your main strengths be, do you think?
My strength. Hmm. I work. Let me see. Wait.
Again,
Anyway, I'm a good team worker
mm-hmm,
and good communicator, though not perfect,
mm-hmm.
and
Nobody's perfect.
always teachable, ready to learn.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's great, fantastic. You're very friendly and easy to talk with, I find as well, which is great. Um, You know, it makes work easier if the person you're working with is easy to talk with. It's really so important, isn't it? So
Yeah.
the next question is, what are your weaknesses? So this is the question where you've got to be a bit clever because obviously nobody's perfect, but this is
Yeah.
you have to try and turn a weakness into a positive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you're not going to say something that makes you look bad. Do you know what I mean? It's a job, so
The only thing I can say is maybe learning has no bound and it has no end, and
mhm.
I'm always ready to learn, and that is the only weakness I have. I'm
Okay,
not perfect.
yeah. So you like to learn. That's not a weakness though, is it?
Yeah.
So do you mean that you a thinker? You constantly overthinking because you want to learn.
I'm not really overthinking though. It's
Hmm.
like, you know, any job that you'll be going in, for us, you are new,
Hmm.
things are new to you.
Of course.
Even if you are you have professor
Hmm.
or PhD, you hold PhD in your field. If you go to any organization in every new place, in fact, you may look stupid
Hmm.
as if you know nothing.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
with time, you'll be acquainted with the way they do their things. Then
Okay.
you come out with your good stuff.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes
So,
time, doesn't it?
so that is what I have in mind.
Okay. Great.
Because I remember when I started this care, or even after I've worked for over 1 year,
Hmm.
and then my agency took me to another place. If you go first, as if you know nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. You're kind of thrown into it a little bit.
Yeah, but I was that type. If I go to a place first, I don't do anything. I just glance. I'll just be looking, watching what is going on to see
Ah.
if I can use this equipment, if I can do this, if I can do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you
So
observe.
I observe very well, critically. So
Ah.
if perchance I happen to work with someone, then
Hmm.
the person knows, oh, this lady knows this thing already.
Yeah.
This is how it has always been since
Okay.
I came to the UK. Yeah. I
Okay.
remember I had a care job in a care home somewhere. That one was my permanent job.
Yeah.
And there was in fact, those ladies, it's like they see themselves to be too good.
Okay.
They see themselves to be good.
Hmm.
But what happened was I was supposed to observe for some days. But
Hmm.
these ladies asked me to do something. Okay. I didn't mind because I was doing it before.
Yeah.
So I started doing it, not knowing whatever you do, they go and report to the boss.
Okay.
I didn't know. So one time, the lady told me, at least you know everything, or you know what you were doing. I
Hmm.
said, oh, so you were just pulling my legs, trying to see if I will make mistakes or anything.
Oh.
Then later, somebody hinted me that no. They were giving feedbacks to the boss, the
Okay.
owner of the company. I said, eh.
Okay. Right. Okay. That's quite makes you a bit nervous, doesn't it? Really?
I wasn't,
You wasn't nervous.
never.
Good for you.
If I know how to do something, it's like
Yeah.
I go all out to do it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I make sure I make no mistakes because
Hmm.
care job, it's a bit, yeah, as you know, we have a lot of question marks. So when I'm working, I'm always careful.
Yeah, yeah,
Always
yeah.
careful.
It's yeah, and it's very difficult, isn't it? Because you're always kind of like you say, you're always
Mm,
analysing, always observing, which
mm,
is can be hard, but because you're like that, you're so there's again turning a weakness into a positive. Because you're
mm,
like that, as a person, you'll go far because you've got awareness, uh,
mm.
which is a positive thing to have. So that again is turning a weakness into a positive. So that's a great example. Oh, so the next one is give me an example of when you worked well in a team. Do you have any examples of when you worked well in a team that
Yeah,
you wanted to talk about?
within this cash, it's like sometimes, those with dementia, they don't like having shower
Right,
and
okay.
the rest. So sometimes we bat them in teams. If maybe two people,
Hmm.
yeah, and it's like we always have to communicate. If not, we'll be making mistakes.
Of course, of
Yeah.
course. That sounds, it's care work is so important, isn't it? Especially
Yeah.
because you're looking after people that are very vulnerable. So I guess that's a great example. You have
And
to,
it's like always you have to hand down what you have,
yeah,
what you did. And
mhm,
it's like since you are two, you have to make sure you put the right thing down. So
okay,
it's all boils down to good communication.
definitely, absolutely, yeah. So you have to report on everything that you do.
Everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's hard sometimes, isn't it? Because you've got the actual practical work and then the
Mhm.
reporting element, and you don't want to forget anything, and you have to back up everything you're saying. So being able to communicate clearly and work in a team is so important for what you do, isn't it?
Yeah. Sorry.
You okay?
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah. So yeah, you've got some great examples, Festina. Um, so the next one is describe a time you dealt with a difficult customer or situation. So the example here is there was a situation where a customer was unhappy about a delay. I listened without interrupting, apologised for the inconvenience, and explained what I could do to help. I stayed calm throughout and offered a practical solution. By the end of the conversation, the customer was satisfied and thanked me for handling the issue professionally. So that's an example. Where do you see yourself in the future?
Where do I see myself in the future?
Yeah,
Mm, maybe becoming a manager in a care home
great.
or go back to school and
Okay.
then do something good.
Yeah, yeah. And you're doing something good now, so yeah, all good. Learning is, I think learning is just such a good way to,
Just at
develop.
least once you are not dead,
Yeah.
learning goes on.
Oh gosh. So okay, so this a possible response on here is I see myself developing my skills and taking on more responsibility. I'm keen to grow within the organisation, learn from the experienced colleagues, and eventually move into a role where I can support others. So another question, which is probably quite common, is why should we hire you? So possible response,
Why should you hire me?
why should we hire you?
To help or to wait a minute. Let me construct my English word.
Okay, take your time.
It's all about helping in the growth of the organization to achieve their goal.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm ever ready to work in accordance with their purpose and to help uplift the name of the organization.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you're kind of bringing the organisation's name to life, really, aren't you?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's a responsibility, isn't it, to do well, to do, for the reputation.
yeah.
So I think at the end of an interview, that's your opportunity then to ask any questions. So you may be asked, do you have any questions for us? So,
No, I don't.
yeah, yeah. So maybe think of some kind of examples of what you might ask in an interview. So an example here is, I'd like to know more about what a typical day looks like in this role and how the team supports new starters during training. Um, so that's an example. Another question that I like to ask is around support with like being flexible with work hours, around childcare. That's been an important one for me. What does the holidays, entitlement, any benefits that might be positive for you? So it's always good to have some questions prepared for the employer. So, asking the interviewer relevant questions is an important part of the interview process. It shows that I'm genuinely interested in the role, that I prepared properly, and that I'm thinking about how I would fit into the organisation. Below are examples of questions an interviewee might ask.
Mm.
So, here's some questions.
Uh-huh.
So, here's some more questions around that you might ask the interviewee. So, can you describe what a typical day looks like in this role? What does the training or induction process involve? What qualities are you looking for in the person that you hire? How is performance measured in this role? What challenges might I face in the first few months? So that shows honesty, awareness, and a willingness to prepare properly. So it's good to kind of preempt and plan for any particular challenges within the role that you may encounter. Um, yeah, so there's quite a few different examples on here if you want to have a little quick read through them. Can you see that, Festina?
Okay, it's not too clear, but I'll zoom it.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's okay. A bit. Yeah,
So there's some different examples, and obviously you can get this on Moodle if you want to have a read back over this.
yeah.
Another good question I find in my experience has been, what are the next steps after this interview? So it shows that you're practical and it shows that you're keen to move forward for the job.
Mm.
How long has the position been open? Is there anything else you need from me to help with your decision? And that gives you an opportunity, that question, to maybe go over anything that you've not had an opportunity to talk about that might be helpful to their decision to get the job. Okay, so this is just the references for this PowerPoint. So this just shows, here's some examples of some books you might want to read um, around different interview skills, communication, developing employability skills, management and organisational behaviour. And then there's some examples of interviewing principles and practices. So I was going to try and show you a little video, but I just hope it doesn't echo again. Um, let's do. I think. Oh, that's 12 minutes. That one. Okay, that's quite long. What I'll do, Christina, I'll WhatsApp you some examples if you like, so you can have a look at different types of verbal non-communication, because some of them seem quite long on here. Is that
Okay.
okay?
All right.
Um, Can you see the screen still?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know where it's... There we go. Okay. Okay, my computer doesn't like me today. Okay, I'm going to end it there anyway because that's at the end of this. That's the end of the material, teaching material.